Yo, what's up guys, it's Untitled Chapter, and today we're back with another challenge video, and today I'm going to be doing the Dunsparce only challenge in Pokemon FireRed. And the next video maybe will be a DS one, because I've only had Game Boy Advance games so far. And I haven't done Gold, Silver, or Crystal yet because I don't really remember how to play through the Johto region, because I haven't done it in like 8 years probably. Last time was in Soul Silver, so I'm going to try to figure out how to beat the Johto region, and then I'll have a Johto video out, and then maybe a DS one coming soon. But I actually have a collab video in the works coming out, and that's going to be my next one, so I hope you guys are hyped for that. And first off, I want to give a quick shout out to these people on screen. They all commented on my last video, so shout out to everyone right here, and let's just get into the video. Also guys, I just want to say right now, I'm trying to go for 1,000 likes on this video. So to achieve that, I'm going to need everyone right now watching this video. Comment down below. It doesn't even matter what you say. Just comment as many times as you can. Even if it's just spamming random letters, just do it. Go. Do it right now. So starting off, we have Dunsparce as our starter. And I replaced Bulbasaur in this case. And of course, I just named it Fish because I wanted some extremely basic generic name. So our moves that we start off with are Rage and Defense Curl. And Rage isn't like the best move, but it definitely isn't the worst either. It kind of works the same as Rollout, where each time I use it, it gets stronger. But at the same time, it's actually a bit better than Rollout because it doesn't... So our stats are pretty well balanced, honestly. We have a slow speed and special defense, but that's all. So here's Rage, Defense Curl, just pretty standard moves to start off with. And if you just saw, I had a held item that was Everstone. I didn't mean to put it there because I don't even evolve, but we move on to Brock, and by this point we're level 21 and we have the move Rollout. And this is our best move I can use at this point. And it has kind of a low accuracy, but I mean it does like 1/8 of Geodude's health, which is really bad. But luckily for us, it gets stronger each time I use it. So it went from doing just a little to a lot more, and then I could just take it out on the third hit. And by this point, when I'm at Onix, Rollout has been like charging up, and now it's really strong. So with one use of Rollout on Onix, it just takes it out, even though it's not very effective. So yeah, that's just showing how pretty overpowered Rollout is, and it's going to help me a lot for this playthrough. So, of course, we have to choose our fossil, but before that, we gotta fight this weird nerd in the end of Mount Moon. And he pretty much doesn't do anything but spam Harden the entire time. But his Pokemon are pretty bad. Once I get the Rollout charged up a little bit, I just one-shot everything else on his team. Doesn't even matter what type it is, honestly. This move is just so good. So, we beat him, and now there's only one choice for our fossil. Of course, Helix Fossil is the best in the world, but I was hesitant. I choose that every time, and some people were mad in the comments. So I was like, oh, I'll pick the Dome. And then after trying to make this cool little scene, I run to a Paris. But overall, I decided to go with the Dome Fossil, even though I think it's worse because I don't like Kabuto that much. I mean, I gotta do it. I can't pick Omanite every single time. But after that, it's time to go to Misty. And I'm not really worried about her at all. Rollout does a decent amount of damage, but on the second and third hits, it's doing way more. And then that works out really good in our case, because now when we make it to Starmie, it's just so strong and it'll just take it out. So nothing to worry about there. We defeated Misty pretty easily. And I decided to teach Dunsparce Water Pulse, which I just got from Misty. And I got rid of Rage because I never found myself using it anymore. It was kind of just sitting there in my moveset. So I replaced that with Water Pulse. And now I have to fight the rival right before Nugget Bridge. And he starts off with his Pidgeotto. I use Rollout because it's super effective, but since the power on this move isn't that strong, it only does it a little bit more than half and not just instantly taking it out. But it is a charge up move, so with getting stronger every turn, I can move on to his next Pokemon and have pretty much a really easy battle. So I moved up, or leveled up to level 24, and while this happened, I tried learning the move Spite, but I don't even know what that move does. I never see anyone use it, so I just didn't learn it. And at this point, Rollout is so strong that anything on his team, I'm just one-shotting. It could be Rattata, this Charmander, his Abra. It's just pretty overpowered in my opinion. Because if you guys remember back at Brock, his Onix was not even, like, it said not very effective when I used it, and it still was a one-shot. So just like that, I took Gary down, and the next thing to do is fight him again in the SS Ant ship. So he has pretty much the same team as before. The only real difference is that he evolved his Rattata into Eradicate. But of course, I start out with Rollout because that's like my only move at this point that I really use. I have Water Pulse, but I don't find myself using it that often. So these quick rollouts are just destroying his whole team. He doesn't really stand a chance. And even if that Kadabra got to use Disable and cut off my rollout, I could just use Water Pulse or anything and take it out. But yeah, that's the end of Gary, taking out Charmeleon with an unnecessary critical hit. And we're about half health, but it doesn't matter. We took him down without too much struggle at all. So, next up, I decided to teach my Dunsparce Dig, because the next gym is Lieutenant Surge, the electric guy. And luckily for me, Dunsparce can learn like pretty much any move you can imagine. So I could just give it Dig and take this guy out. The best part about Dunsparce is its huge variety of TM moves, and even a couple HMs, but Voltorb, the Pokemon that should have the ability to Levitate, doesn't. So I take that out with one Dig. And then his Pikachu is just being really annoying, just spamming Double Team over and over, and my evasiveness is so bad right now, but I still hit him with that Dig, and now we're paralyzed, so we end up not being able to hit Raichu. So now we're in like the worst case scenario ever. We have probably like the worst evasiveness ever, and paralyzed. So I gotta have really good luck in order to hit Raichu, which I do get that luck eventually. So I use Water Pulse now because it's not a 2-turn move and I could hit it easier, but he healed up so that didn't even end up mattering. So back to Dig, and I could use it now and take out Raichu and level up to level 27. So next up, I decided to give myself another TM that I don't even know how Dunsparce can learn, but I can learn the move Flamethrower. So that's like extremely overpowered in my opinion. Maybe in the future I'll do a Dunsparce challenge with only like level up moves. So stuff like Rollout, Rage, because with this huge variety of TMs, it just makes it pretty easy. But I'm still not the best Pokemon overall. Dunsparce has pretty bad stats, but now I'm in the Erica gym, the 4th gym, which is grass type, and that's where my Flamethrower comes in. It doesn't do that much damage because I don't get the same type of attack bonus, but it's still enough to take pretty much everything down except that high level Victory Bell. So we just sweep through the rest of the gym, except Giga Drain is super overpowered, so that took me down luckily, or unluckily, what am I saying? So I took it for another attempt, but this time I'm 3 levels higher because I wanted to make sure I could defeat Erica without too much struggle, because I mean I have like the best move in the game at this point for a grass gym. I shouldn't be struggling at all. So now I'm at a pretty secure level, and Flamethrower is just taking out Tangela easy. But Vileplume, where we lost last time, is not faster than me. So Flamethrower does a little over half, but Giga Drain is still such a strong move. But luckily for me, I had more health at this point and got a unnecessary crit, which seems to happen all the time. But I took another level up, and that's it for gym number 4, with the worst Pokemon ever somehow succeeding. But now it's time for our first encounter with Giovanni in this file, the Team Rocket leader. And his team, he's got an Onix to start out, but I have Water Pulse, so that just easily annihilates it. Same with Rhyhorn, 4 times weak to this, so another Water Pulse and is dead. Kangaskhan's the only thing I was like even a little bit worried about. I started off with Defense Curl, and then I used Rollout, and I wanted to use Defense Curl to charge it up a few turns, but I got flinched from Bite. So with my Rollout charging up, luckily he uses Tail Whip, which was such a dumb decision, and that allows me to use my third Rollout and take him out. So now we're back with Big Brother rival in the Pokemon Tower in Lavender, and his team still hasn't varied that much from SSN. Unfortunately, Pidgeotto hits us with a sand attack, making my evasiveness pretty bad. And Rollout already doesn't have the best accuracy, but surprisingly, I'm hitting like all my shots with Rollout until Kadabra uses Disable. So that would have taken it out for sure. But now we have Flamethrower to use, but I forgot my evasiveness was still bad, so I missed. But I leveled up to level 37, and all that was left was Charmeleon. So, with my accuracy being even lower now, I'm trying to go for a Water Pulse and just missing every single shot. I honestly think that there should be a point where, like, you can't do this, because the chances of me hitting that Water Pulse, probably like a 15%. But, oh well, it doesn't matter now, because I took him out. So, I moved on to Koga, the 5th gym leader, the poison type guy. And I didn't really have anything super effective on him. So I had to use old reliable Rollout and charge it up a bit, and then hopefully get some 1-shots or 2-shots on these Pokemon. So Coughing was like my bait, like the guinea pig Pokemon. I just had to use Rollout and charge it up. But after missing, it broke my streak, so it was really weak now. So I didn't have time to charge it up, and I just used Flamethrower, which didn't do as much as I'd wanted to. So I lost to Koga, and with another attempt, I started off with Rollout again, but this time I didn't miss, so I didn't break my streak, but I got poisoned, unfortunately. So by this point, I have the Leftovers item. I didn't mention in the intro, but the only rule change this time is I changed no held items to held items being allowed, because I've realized I was like the only person making these videos that didn't allow held items. And for a one Pokemon only challenge, there's honestly no need for it. Like, why shouldn't I have held items? So I'm going to be using only the Leftovers as my held item throughout the whole game. So I can't just like go up to a guy and start off with a choice band or something. It's not going to be that easy, but I'll just have a Leftovers throughout this whole playthrough as my held item. And that's just how it's going to be. So eventually I made it to Weezing, the last Pokemon, which was honestly pretty close to my level. And I didn't really know what moves to use. I didn't have time to charge up a Rollout. So I got really low health, unfortunately. And Weezing got burned, which I thought maybe I was going to win. But I ended up losing because I was poisoned. So I got back to this point again, and I was poisoned again. But I got a lucky critical hit. I had to keep trying basically until I got that crit, because I didn't want to get over leveled. But finally I took Koga out. And the next thing for me to do was fight Big Bruh, my rival, again in Sylph Co. And now he evolved his Pidgeotto into Pidgeot, and actually has a pretty overpowered move, which is Feather Dance, which cuts your attack in half, I believe. Actually, no, that's Intimidate. Feather Dance will harshly lower your attack, along with me getting it cut. So I was pretty weak throughout this fight, now at level 51. But Rollout luckily is all charged up and taken out Pokemon easily. So that Charizard, now it's 4 times weak and has literally no chance. Alakazam has absolutely terrible defense, so pretty much any attacking move I use will one-shot it. But like earlier, I got my attack severely lowered, so it doesn't do that. So it takes just a couple attempts of using Flamethrower, but I take it out and level up to level 52. And that's it for the rival. So next up for me is Boss Giovanni. His team is definitely different than before. He started off with Onix and now Nidorina. So he's just using some stat moves. I'm using Defense Curl, because I don't want to get destroyed instantly. I'm gonna get rid of Defense Curl later, honestly, because I'm like never using it. I never find myself actually using that move. So Nidoqueen is not very, not very effective to water, I guess. So I use Water Pulse, but Nidoqueen's a pretty much tank, so Water Pulse doesn't do that much. It's not a one-shot for sure. So after using it 3 times, I take him out, or her out, and Kangaskhan's up next, which is, he had a Kangaskhan earlier in the file, so he decided to keep this. And Kangaskhan, I don't really have anything that's gonna do that much damage to it, so I just use Flamethrower and catch it with a burn, luckily. My leftovers definitely helping out this time, because if I get hurt even a little bit, it's just gonna heal right back up, and it makes every fight a bit easier. So I accidentally used Flamethrower on Rhyhorn, not really thinking, or not Flamethrower, I used Rollout. So it's not really doing that much damage at all, but after using it multiple times, it's doing a lot more, but unfortunately for me, I miss. So now, since my rollout is over, I can use Water Pulse and finish the fight off just like that. So next up is the next gym leader, Sabrina. She's pretty easy because she has like all special Pokemon, and you think that would be bad because I only have physical moves, but it really isn't, because, I mean, just like that, any move, honestly, does so much damage. So 2 Flamethrowers takes it out easily, and I'm charging out my rollout now on Mr. Mime. So then when I get to the harder Pokemon like Alakazam, it'll just one-shot it pretty much. But I forgot she had a Venomoth, so I just use Flamethrower because it's super effective. And unfortunately, me being confused, it just makes the fight that much harder, but it doesn't really matter because I end up hitting it anyways. So Psybeam doesn't even do that much to me. Next up is Alakazam, which honestly does so much to me with Psychic. I was kind of worried that I was going to die here, and I was burned, and he was burned. That's kind of weird because of the Synchronize ability. So he had a burn. It doesn't even matter because I just took him out, or her out. Sabrina's a girl, not a boy. But that's the end of gym number 6, and there's not much to do now. Then I'm not showing the Haunted Mansion because that just takes forever, and it's a little side quest. So I'm not worried for Blaine at all because I have Water Pulse and Rollout. This is like the best gym leader for me because I have 2 super effective moves and 1 is a charge up. So this gym is really good for me. Rollout is just obliterating everything in my path, and a critical hit. I don't even think that was necessary, which always happens, but yeah. Last up is Arcanine, and I get very low health, and I don't know how Arcanine survived that, but he did. But oh well, because it's a charge up move, so obviously the next turn my rollout's gonna do even more and kill it. So I don't show the side quest going to the Sevi Islands because it's just a huge side quest and a waste of time, and it doesn't determine at all if Dunsparce can beat FireRed. So I moved on to the 8th gym, and this is the ground type gym, which is what type he's been specializing with the whole game pretty much. So Water Pulse is definitely doing the job, taking out these Pokemon. And he has the Nidoqueen and Nidoking, the little duo. But they aren't really that good against me, honestly. They use moves like Earthquake, which are pretty much worthless to me. Such strong moves, but with my stat pool, it doesn't really do that much. So now I'm on Dugtrio, which Water Pulse 4 times effective. So yeah, that's it for Dugtrio. And all he's got now, I believe, is a Rhyhorn. Yeah. And we've seen other times in this playthrough, I one-shot like every Rhyhorn I see because it's 4 times weak to water. So that's it for Giovanni, the 8th gym. And there's only one thing left to do on this file, the Elite Four. But first I gotta do the rival fight. So this is the fight pretty much everyone hates because it's the hardest thing up to the Elite Four. And Feather Dance is really annoying at this point. I pretty much have no chance if that happens. But luckily for me, my moves like Water Pulse are special. So, not all of them are special, but ones like that. So, I don't really know what to do in this point. I use Flamethrower on Execute, which somehow does a one-shot. I didn't expect that at all. Alakazam, instead of Flamethrower, I use Thunderbolt because I forgot if they're like the same power on those moves. But 2 Thunderbolts is luckily enough to take out Alakazam. Gyarados, I'm not worried about because Thunderbolt is 4 times effective. So no matter how much my attack and special attack gets lowered, it's still going to one-shot. And on Charizard, I did something pretty risky, honestly, which is using Rollout. I could have just used 2 Thunderbolts, probably, and taken it out. But I wasn't really thinking, so I used Rollout. I think my mindset was just, oh, it's 4 times effective, so I might as well use it. But yeah, that was definitely way too risky. I lived with only 13 HP before I level up. But yeah, that's it for the rival, and it's time for the Pokemon League. So first up is Lorelei, and starts with a Dugong. And I think it's a Ice and Water type. So I use Thunderbolt to start off, which is super effective. It doesn't do enough to kill it though. So I use Rollout, knowing that she would heal, so then I could get it charged up even more. And I get... No, not at this point. I was going to say I got froze, but that's later on. So, I made it past Dugong, and next up is Cloister, which uses Spikes, a competitive move, which kind of surprised me. But, Rollout took it out in one shot, and Slowbro's up next. So, I always have trouble with Slowbro in the Elite Four, but not with Rollout, because I'm honestly surprised. I got that move at level 21, which is like at Brock's gym. That's when I had it, and I kept it for the entire game, up until the Elite Four. So yeah, that's really good, honestly. Dunsparce is definitely like overlooked upon, because it's just an awkward looking Pokemon, no evolution. Kind of makes sense that people wouldn't like it, but honestly, if you're gonna give it all these TMs, it's pretty overpowered in my opinion. But this is a really long fight against Lorelei, because I'm getting quite unlucky with her Lapras. But finally I take it out with another Thunderbolt. And last up is Jinx, which is like one of or the only Pokemon on our team that's a pure Ice type. So I use Flamethrower, and that does almost enough to take it out. And gotta keep those leftovers. I mean, those are helping me a lot. But yeah, this is when I get froze, but I literally get defrosted instantly. I don't know how that managed to happen. Maybe it's because I use Flamethrower. I don't know. But we move on to Bruno. And I was actually extremely worried about Bruno when I realized he's a fighting type and I'm pure normal. So, at this point, I'm level 83. And that's definitely required because I had a lot of failed attempts on this. So, against Onix, I took it out one shot. And now Hitmonlee, I think I fought a Pokemon in between that, but Hitmonlee is not the best Pokemon, honestly. Even with using Brick Break, it still doesn't take me out. I thought it would for sure because it's super effective on me, but Dunsparce, it's honestly a tank. There's nothing really too harmful to it. But Machamp, on the other hand, if this thing uses Cross Chop, which it definitely did in my failed attempts, it pretty much ruined my life if I had less than half health. So, Machamp has a Citrus Berry, and yeah, I just went from green to red health. So, that's just showing how much Machamp can do. And this is my winning attempt. I had a lot of fails, but at this point, 52 health, I was like, I'm dead, Earthquake. But it only did 30 HP. That doesn't really make much sense, but yeah, I guess that's such a weak move now. I don't know, but Agatha's up next. I was kind of worried about her, but not as much as Bruno, because I don't have anything super effective, and Agatha is known for using moves like Confuse Ray, Dream Eater, Hypnosis, just all these stalling moves, which did happen to me throughout this attempt, and I was doing pretty good, honestly. I forgot she had a Golbat, which was good, because then I could just use Thunderbolt, but I think she's I used to always think that she was a Ghost type Elite Four member, but now to think about it, she's just a Poison type. So, or Dark, I don't know. It doesn't really matter that much, but I don't have anything good to use on Arbok, so I just use Thunderbolt over and over. I don't use Rollout because I'd probably get in a Hypnosis lock, which, speak of the devil, gets stuck in Hypnosis. And I have a rule in all my videos that's no items in battle, but that's like for healing and stuff. I could use X items, but I use my Pokeflute because, I mean, it's a key item. It's not an actual item. So I'm fine with using that. I don't consider it cheating at all. So I got out of my sleep, and of course Gengar has a Citrus Berry too, like that other guy in Bruno. But Thunderbolt, I just have to pretty much spam this or Flamethrower, and I get Gengar so low, and then she heals him up, or her up, and I pretty much, I don't know how to raise my stats because I have all attacking moves, but I fall asleep again, but I just use the Pokeflute because I don't want to test my luck and get wake up on the first turn. And if Gengar used Dream Eater, that'd be really bad. I'd probably die from that. So, being how annoying Agatha is, I get put in Hypnosis again. But this time I was like, okay, I'll just wake up. But I don't. I kind of should have expected that. I don't wake up instantly at all. So I'm just taking all these hits, even though I don't need to. But how my brain works, I was like, you know what? If I use the Pokeflute, she's going to put me to sleep again. So I'm just not going to use it. Which is definitely terrible logic, because now I'm locked in a nightmare. So I'm like, okay, what the heck? I'll just use the Pokeflute. So I wake up, and then Sludge Bomb does a lot to me, and I get poisoned. But I would probably get taken out with that poison and the Sludge Bomb if I didn't have my leftovers. But finally, I take out Gengar, and there's only one Pokemon left, which is Haunter. Literally just a weaker version of Gengar. So probably the luckiest thing could have happened. She used Curse, taking Haunter's health down to half, and then I could just use Thunderbolt and win. Like, I might have lost if she didn't do that idiotic move, but I'm not complaining. That just won me the fight. So next up, we got Lance, and I was pretty worried about him, probably the most out of everyone in the Elite Four, because he's just such a strong trainer. He was even the champion in Johto region, but for Gyarados, I just one-shot with Thunderbolt. Aerodactyl is also weak to Thunderbolt, so luckily for me, one Thunderbolt's all I need, and it takes it out, and I level up to 84. Dragonite, I was like, oh gosh, Dragonite. And I actually ran out of Thunderbolts. I couldn't use it anymore. So I had to use Rollout. That was my only good option, because it was super effective because of Flying type, and it charges up. So yeah, I just used that over and over. Outrage got Dragonite confused, which is good. And I finally took it out with Rollout. And then all I had left, I think, was 2 Dragonairs. So Rollout now is super charges up, and I'm just one-shotting everything. So with both of these Dragonairs, Rollout is all I need, and I take them both out. And now I'm ready to fight the champion. That's the only thing left on this playthrough. So I give it my best shot, and Champion Big Bruh, he's here. So starting off with Pidgeot, like always, he went from a Pidgey to a Pidgeot, but I used Thunderbolt because I used an Elixir outside the battle, so now I have my Thunderbolts back. I didn't have all 15, I only had like 10, but next up we got Alakazam, and Flamethrower is pretty much my best bet because I have a chance of burning it, and it's a physical attack. So 2 of those takes out Alakazam. And next up we got Exeggutor, which Flamethrower again is super effective on. So I almost one-shot it, and then I get put to sleep at half health. So that's just really unlucky. So full restore on Exeggutor. I'm still asleep, but it doesn't matter that I'm asleep that much because I'm still getting healed up with my leftovers until Giga Drain happens and I lose all that. But I keep just testing my luck, but I'm just not waking up and getting pretty unlucky. So finally I woke up, and now I'm using Flamethrower on Exeggutor, and that's just enough to take it out. So he's got 3 Pokemon left. Rhydon is just like Rhyhorn earlier in the file, where if I would just use Water Pulse, it would instantly take it out. And luckily for me, that's still happening even at this point in the game. Even though I got this Water Pulse move in gym number 2, but Same thing with Gyarados, 4 times weak to Thunderbolt, and I outlive a Hydro Pump. So 1 Thunderbolt is all I need to take it out. And all we got left now is Charizard. So Charizard it's 4 times weak to, oh yeah, I forgot I died here. So I was going to say it's 4 times weak to Rock, but I ended up trying to use Thunderbolt. But I ended up getting outsped and killed with Fire Blast, so taking it for another attempt. Pidgeotto is really easy, just like before. Alakazam sets up a Reflect to raise its terrible defense, which actually helps it out a lot, but not enough to the point where it would still survive 2 Thunderbolts. So I use both of these and take it out. Next up, Exeggutor. I'm going to go with my same Flamethrower technique, and that does surprisingly enough to kill it, because before it did just enough to let it stay alive, and then I got put to sleep. So we're already doing better than last time. 1 Water Pulse, that's all we need to take out Rhydon. And 2 Pokemon left, we got Gyarados and Charizard. So Gyarados, I could still use my method of using just 1 Thunderbolt, and I use Dragon Rage, which does like only 40 HP. So with 1 slow, long Thunderbolt, I take out Gyarados, and all we got left is Charizard. So Charizard, I'm going to be using, oh yeah, his Reflect wore off. I was kind of deciding, should I use Thunderbolt or Rollout? I started off with a Thunderbolt to see how much it would do, and it did way more than I expected. It did over half, and I'm actually happy to use the Citrus Berry, because otherwise he probably would have healed. So Slash did like nothing, and 1 more Thunderbolt, that's all we need to take out Charizard. And of course, like always in this file, we got a crit that we didn't need. But we can officially say we have beat Pokemon FireRed version with only a Dunsparce, the worst Pokemon in the world. So that's going to be it for this playthrough. I'm honestly so surprised that, because I thought Dunsparce was going to be my hardest video yet, but I didn't realize until someone, I think CNT Ply, I don't know how he pronounced that, but that's his name, in the tie on Discord was like, Dunsparce actually has got really good moves. So I decided to go for it, and that was definitely a good idea, because Dunsparce is definitely capable of making it into the Hall of Fame. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what suggestions you want, and if you're hyped for Pokemon Sword and Shield. And if you are getting one of those, are you getting Sword or Shield? I like to know that, so comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time.